Yo, B Marsh Boxing, what's going on, boxing heads and fight fans around the world? So, Danny Jacobs, Jermall Charlo, what's up with it? That's a fight I'm trying to see right there, you know what I mean? Both guys that are inactive right now. They don't have an opponent coming up. So why not, you know what I mean? Jermall Charlo, now a WBC champion. You know what I'm saying? Got that belt, defended it, I guess, or I don't know if you call it defending or what he did with the kid. What was his name? Brian Adams? Is that his name? The dude Jermall Charlo fought a couple weekends ago. Now at the post-fight interview with Jim Gray, the man Jermall Charlo seemed content with just being handed a belt, not having to be nobody for it. That's all well and fine. What could he do? Canelo didn't fight him. That was his mandatory. You know what I mean? I see no fault in whatever happened to Jermall Charlo. All I wish was Jermall Charlo would have called out the man Canelo. You know what I mean? Same way that on the same night, if I'm not mistaken, that Bubu Andrade went all in on Canelo. You know what I mean? He said Canelo ain't got no balls, where your cojones at, all kinds of shit. Danny Jacobs just lost to Canelo, lost his IBF belt, I believe, in his first title defense. You know what I mean? Short-lived champion. Danny Jacobs been on the middleweight radar for a while, you know what I mean? Guy has a good amateur background, Golden Gloves winner in New York. But I still feel Danny Jacobs could do a lot more in his career, you know what I mean? I felt the way he fought Canelo, he could have pressed the action more, you know what I'm saying? Should have boxed, used his, he gave up his height. And I thought that would be what would be an advantage, you know what I mean? Keeping the man Canelo at the bay, at the end of his punches, you know what I mean, with the jab and, unleashing, you know what I mean? But the man Danny Jacobs, from what I've noticed over the years, is his punch accuracy, you know what I mean? His punch accuracy is questionable, you know what I mean? And also the timing of when he throws shots, because he's also vulnerable to getting caught with shots in between, you know what I mean? But besides that, he has no belt. Jermall Charlo still has a lot to prove, not just at middleweight, in his career. You know what I mean? These guys, him and his brother, they've been pros for a long time. You know what I'm saying? And it's about high time that they tested themselves. You know what I mean? Jermall Charlo, he won that IBF belt, that junior middleweight versus old Kanan Bundridge. I believe Kanan was like 41 years old. You know what I mean? That's why the younger Jermall Charlo destroyed him. You check it, but at middleweight, and also matter of fact at junior middleweight, he had that fight with the man Austin Trout. That's a fight that could have easily been a draw. I slightly had the man Austin Trout winning that fight. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, Jermall Charlo still got a lot to prove. You know what I mean? You check it. He beat Julian J. Rock Williams, who's come back to become a world champion. So in hindsight, that's a good W. But we're not talking about at heavyweight. I'm sorry, middleweight. Hugo Centeno Jr., Matt Karabov, which a fight that some people believe Jermall Charlo lost, and Brandon Adams. That's not going to cut it right now. You know what I mean? He's going to have to get some names, some bodies on his resume. And a guy like Danny Jacobs would be the perfect dance opponent. I'm trying to tell you, man. Danny Jacobs right now, these two had a little, not no scuffle, but, exchanged some words. As you can see from the thumbnail that I got for the video, that was in the tunnel or in the backstage at what you call it, at the Barclays Center. I can't remember who was fighting that particular night. But these two, they got it in, you know what I mean? Jermall Charlo was kind of sneak dissing the man, Danny Jacobs, behind his back. Danny Jacobs, he appeared like Casper the Ghost, came up out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Rolled up on the man Jermall Charlo like was really good in Brooklyn. You know what I mean? Danny Jacobs' hometown. So, and it's ironic. The same weekend, that's when Jermall Charlo got robbed by them three big broads for his Louis Vuitton purse, and I think he had like shines in his Louis Vuitton purse. Either shines worth 40 grand or the shines and 40 grand. You know what I mean? But Danny Jacobs, man, 35-3, 29 KOs. Been KO'd once in his career. The Miracle Man, he disappointed me in his last fight versus Danny Jacobs. I'm sorry, versus Canelo Alvarez. I mean, I thought he fought real passive in that fight. He had a better effort versus um, Triple G. I mean? He had a split decision W versus Sergey Devrichenko. He ain't looked too impressive in that fight. The fight versus Sulecki, that was a close fight as well. You know what I mean? Danny Jacobs needed that knockdown in the 12th round to really solidify that win. Otherwise, it might have been a split decision, victory or loss, either way. You know what I mean? So Danny Jacobs and Jermall Charlo, they need each other right now. Why wouldn't? Well, they both managed by Al Heyman. I know Danny Jacobs is promoted by Eddie Hearn. So I don't know what they're going to do with that, but I think logically the challenger should go to the champions network. You know what I mean? Go back to Showtime PBC for one fight. If you can beat the man Jermall Charlo, go ahead, take that belt back to the zone. Simple and plain. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? No contract extensions, no options, none of that. One fight deal. Just go back to Showtime, show and prove that you can get that belt. You know what I mean? A fight that, I'm sure the boxing fans would love to see. We need to actually call for this fight because Jermall Charlo ain't got nobody to fight, man. And people just gonna be flaming him up, saying he a paper champ, this, that, and the third. And look, the man was handed a belt because Canelo didn't want to fight the man. Whether you think Canelo can beat him or not, that's a duck. Because look, the man James DeGale, he dropped his belt. He dropped his IBF belt in order not to face Jose Uzcategui. You check it. That's a duck. Same way Steve Collins did with Joe Calzaghe when he dropped his WBO 168-pound belt. In a fight he was supposed to fight the man, Calzaghe is mandatory. So the same goes for the man Canelo, you know what I mean? Look, he's fragmenting them belts. And that's the last thing we need in boxing is a fragmentation of the belts. I do consider Canelo the number one middleweight on the planet. But Canelo also got some diva tactics. Steroid abuser, they tried to cover that up, was out for 6 months. No sweat. These fighters only fight twice a year. Probably fights like 7 months, 8 months in between fights. So what is 6 months? You check it. So the man, Danny Jacobs, man, he need to be pressing for this fight, man. Because the zone gonna feed him a whole bunch of bums. I'm trying to tell you, I can guarantee you, if Jermall Charlo is not Danny Jacobs' next opponent, Jermall Charlo and Danny Jacobs will both be fighting bums. I'm trying to tell you, man, they ain't got nobody else to fight. Triple G ain't trying to fight Danny Jacobs for what? I thought Danny Jacobs won that fight, but there's no belt involved. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no incentive for him to go in and try to fight Danny Jacobs, you know what I mean? Maybe Danny Jacobs and Bubu Andrade could be made too, you know what I'm saying? But personally, I would like to see Danny Jacobs and Jermall Charlo, especially from that beef they had backstage, at the Barclays Center, you know what I mean? That's the ideal fight right there, you know what I mean? Houston versus Brooklyn, New York. That'd be a great fight in middleweight. Danny Jacobs being given an opportunity to win back another world title. You check it, he beat guys like Sergio Moore, Peter Quillen, but Danny Jacobs' resume is decent. It could be much better for a guy who's been a pro since like 2007. So it's 12 years now, you know what I mean? Danny Jacobs been in the game for a minute. Danny Jacobs was in games like Fight Night for PlayStation as a young up-and-coming middleweight, you know what I mean? Got upset by the man Dmitry Pirog. Dmitry Pirog took him to school, but at the end of the day, I'd like to see Danny Jacobs versus Jermall Charlo. You know what I mean? So if you guys like to see that fight, let me know in the comment section. Who you think will win that fight? Personally, that's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. I think it's going to be a fight where it's going to go the distance. I think Danny Jacobs has better boxing skills. And they both can crack. But the man, Jermall Charlo, has a good jab. I'm not saying it's a great jab, but it's a powerful jab. You know what I mean? It's a jab that could put anybody on their ass. You know what I mean? He's proven it before. But if Danny Jacobs' punch accuracy isn't on point, he could lose this fight. You know what I'm saying? And the man Jermall Charlo, he needs more punch variety himself. You know what I mean? He has a 1-2. He needs to have more body shots, more left hooks. You know what I'm saying? You know, I think the person who boxes the best, moves around, doesn't stand in the pocket, picks their shots, is going to win this fight. But it's a tough pick 'em fight. You know what I mean? It's a pick 'em fight right about now. You know what I mean? You know, Danny Jacobs, like I said, man, you know, if he put his punches together more accurately, you know what I mean? He's a better boxer, you know what I'm saying? He has the tools, he has the skills, he has the physique. But at the end of the day, Jermall Charlo hits hard. You know, Jermall Charlo, you know, he himself, besides from accuracy, he's also not the best accurate puncher. But punch variety is my concern, you know what I mean? You know, he seems like he needs, you know, not only putting his punches together, but doesn't have much punch variety. You know what I mean? You know, it seems kind of basic. You know, the 1-2 is a nice move. You know what I mean? But you gotta put more in the game than that. You know, so be March Boxing. Leave your thoughts and comments. Let me know what y'all think about this fight, man. Would you like to see it, Danny Jacobs versus Jermall Charlo for the WBC middleweight title of the world? Be March Boxing. Leave your thoughts and comments, and I'm out of here. Peace.